Alright, what's up, y'all? So, I have an issue. I got a really good microphone on here, but last night I was taking some shots of, myself out in the streets, and I came back and the footage was absolutely unusable. There was so much wind noise because, well, I didn't have this on there. This is super important, but the way that my camera's, put together, this would interfere directly with me seeing myself, being able to line up the shot and everything, so I figured I might as well not use it. Bad call. But if you knew me at the academy, you knew that I gave haircuts, so... Finished it. It's a little windy out here. I'm gonna do a quick test run. The wind's all gonna be. You could probably hear a little bit of that. Yeah, it's probably gonna show up crazy in the camera. All right, so this is with the dead cat on there. I hope it sounds a little better, a little nicer. Not the cleanest fade I've ever given, but probably the most functional. So got that going for us. That's so crazy, Mom, that you wanna be interviewed right now. All right. Even though I can't see myself with this dead cat on here, you know what this camera can see? My beautiful mother. Yeah. We're gonna go out for some coffee and we'll get some good interviews in there. Don't even worry about it.
You. Does have meaning. I'm a domestique. The one who sacrifices everything and doesn't care, doesn't have to win and cross the line. And there... Are you taping?
Yeah.
No.
That was money. That was so good. All right. That's exactly what we need for the...
No.
Oh my... She was born for it. That was amazing. Alright, cheers. The time has come. So the other day when I was up in UF with Jasmine, of course, I was vlogging exactly like I am right now, and she said that you and her mom met at USOF.
We did. We got there in 1983 as freshmen, as basics, and the first class graduated in 1980. So we were the 7th year of women, essentially.
People died in basic? Was that the year before you guys came?
Right.
And
that
so
was 86.
Okay. Because I heard that Mike Edwards always made fun of Janet because it was like the easy basic, which was not easy. It's easy nowadays. But
it's not easy nowadays.
What was it like?
It was hard, but it was fun. It was, you just met people that you would be friends with the rest of your life because you went through such hard things. You went through very hard things.
How was Issa? Or Siri?
Siri. Survival, evasion, resistance, and escape was, for me, 2 summers. So I did one part of Siri my first summer after freshman year, but then I got pretty sick, so they sent me home. So then the second summer I went back to finish with a different set of freshmen. But it was interesting because we had the POW camp back then, and you would strip down to your skivvies and wear the people's dress, and I don't know what they called the box that they tortured us in, but we lived in a people's box. It was a very tall and very narrow cement cell. Spend the night in your people's house, sitting on your people's chair and using your people's potty. And then we would get in little boxes, just like, you know, I mean, it was the Vietnam War. They were...
How big?
Oh, I don't know. They were adjustable, depending on how big you were. But they would make it as small as you could be. So I loved it because I just got in there and fell asleep. But we were supposed to practice the tap code.
Yeah.
You know, so we'd be in our little wood boxes. We'd be tapping out messages to each other. Because I got sick, I did part of it with the next class, the class of '88. And so that's when they killed me. Do you remember this story?
No.
Okay, so since I was already a 3 degree by then, the freshmen going through Siri didn't know who I was. So they would hook us up, they would put us in like groups of, I think 3 to 7 if I remember right. And we'd have to go and learn up in the woods, in the mountains, how to make shelters to hide, because we were evading. So you had to survive and you had to evade, and we had to learn how to stay hidden during the day. And if the instructors found that you weren't doing it correctly, of course they would correct you. Well, there was one guy in a flight across the hill. We didn't know there were more people over there because where we were, but he was messing up so bad in the broad daylight. He would walk out in the open area and not try to hide himself. And where he was trying to hide in his little shelter, it was terrible. So what they did was created a scenario where they scared these kids to death. It was scary. They got everybody and explained that he was such a bad example that they were just going to kill him because he was endangering everybody. You know, they have you in a scenario out there.
Yeah.
So they were going to make an example of him by killing him so that everybody else would make sure that they were evading correctly. So on my side of the hill, they killed me too. And that was my 15 minutes of fame. Yes, because I was awesome. They had me blindfolded, and he was a staff sergeant. He was just incredible. A Syria instructor from the real survival school. He came out there and he had explained it, of course, to me what we were doing because I was an upperclassman. The sergeant came to me and he explained that this guy really had to learn his lesson, and that's how they were going to solve the problem. So they were just going to swap me with him. But everybody would think that the two of us had died because by then you're hungry and you're tired and you know you really are set in the scenario. So it was pretty shocking. And he set me out in the field and he had everybody around and he was mad. He was so mad and he was yelling and I don't know what we made up for why I had to go, but it wasn't that I had messed up. But I think the scenario was that everybody had been doing a kind of a half-assed job and he was just gonna make sure that we were gonna do things correctly. He was just gonna take somebody out. So he's gonna take me out. And he blindfolds me, puts me on my knees out in the field, not very far away, and he takes his gun. He has a gun. And he takes a gun and he shoots me in the back of the head. And so I had my hands tied behind my back, and I pulled out my best actress that I could. And I just fell straight forward. As soon as I heard it, I fell forward onto my face, and I died. And they came and got me and just carried me away.
Oh my God.
It was awful.
So they thought you literally killed me.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. So they thought that the staff sergeant came by and was just like, you guys are doing such a shitty job, and he just like popped you in the back of the head. And they say the Air Force isn't hardcore. It's pretty hardcore.
We weren't prisoners till we got to the POW camp. We were trying to evade.
And so was the resistance part of it.
I have stories about the resistance part. Oh. In the POW camp, they would take us out of our people's our little people's house or people's house, and we would go to the interrogation room, and they would interrogate us. And so we had to learn how to resist. Or like when we all went out into the camp to dig the big hole, there was a big giant hole we had to dig. We all got issued our shovels and rakes and everything. We'd all gather around the commandant of the POW camp, and part of resistance is what are the things that you can or can't do? Can you sign a certain document or not? So how do you get through interrogation? What are the different methods that they might use? The good cop, the bad cop, or they beat you up, or whatever. When we were at our first base, there was a sergeant who was trained as an interrogator, and I think he was part of the intelligence. He decided he wanted to demonstrate it, and he was a legit, not an academy cadet who was just kind of learned it, and he decided I was going to be his victim. So he brought me up in front of all of the bomber and all of the tanker people, and he interrogated me. I think that helped when we got to the part of Syria where we had to understand, well, that's really what can happen if you become a POW, and we had people from my time at the academy who were actually POWs. All of those lessons, people actually had opportunities, to use them. Unfortunately, we could really see, okay, it's going to be ungodly.
Didn't you give us this?
Just ungodly.
Yes, you did, yeah.
That's a long story. We're gonna have to do like a 4-part mini-series on Diane Zaman, the life and times. A little biography here.
I find them kind of dull stories.